big blue. It's a letter to Lexington, message from me to you. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this.
All right, Sarah, you already poured me up, a nice tasting of whiskey, but no, Dark Arts. A lot of people don't know Dark Arts yet.
Yeah, we are a newer brand founded in April of 2023, so just over 2.5 years old, but been in this space here for only 2 months. First visitor experience, so this is a lot of people's first time getting that introduction to us.
Yeah, I love the theme of Dark Arts. I mean, you're referred to as a spirit guide, you all have an alchemist. So what was really the inspiration behind this Dark Arts concept?
So we are, because we're only 2.5 years old, but then you'll see some of these bottles of whiskey that have 10+ year age statements on them. So we are sourcing from 6 different sources between Kentucky and Indiana, and we are blending and finishing those products to make them our own. And so in a way we call it, we're doing whiskey alchemy. And alchemy is considered a dark art, right? And it's the practice of taking something that people might consider more ordinary. Now, I'm not saying that the base whiskeys are ordinary, but they might come from sources that a lot of different distilleries have access to.
Right.
So we're taking that thing and we're trying to transform it into something extraordinary. So we're trying to take essentially lead and make it into gold, but we're making liquid gold.
Yeah, I'm always interested in almost like innovative ways when it comes to whiskey in the bourbon industry. And like you said, some people, not you're calling it basic, but sometimes you get some of these people that are like bourbon purists, like it needs to come straight out of the barrel, like that is it. Like what do you say to people that kind of challenge the art of blending?
Yeah, I understand that from like the background that bourbon comes from, but when you look at Scotch and other international whiskeys, I mean, they've been doing these practices for hundreds of years, and blending is just the ability to take something and make it more well-rounded, to add layering and complexity, and the same thing with finishing. You're just imparting different flavors, and not a way to, I think in the US, it maybe got a reputation of people are using those practices to maybe try to hide products that wasn't the best.
Yeah, before the Bottle and Bond Act, no telling what they were putting in bourbon.
Yeah, exactly. But we're not trying to do that. I mean, in my opinion, you put garbage in, you get garbage out, right? So I don't think, that's not our approach to it. We're trying to enhance.
Yes. And I think y'all are doing that. I got a chance to experience it. And let's talk a little bit about the experience, because you can do things here that you can't necessarily do at other, tasting rooms and visitors experience. So walk me through the consumer experience when they come to Dark Arts.
Sure. Well, we have our alchemical journey, which is our introduction to our core 4 spirits. Those are sort of like our flagship products, where we walk you through sort of the brand history, go dive a little bit deeper into that alchemical aspect that I was just talking about, and taste through those. But we also have a thief from the barrel experience. So we've got a room up front, 15 different single barrels, hand selected to go in that room. I'm honored to have been part of like the tasting panel to help choose the ones that go in that room. But you can essentially, you book that experience, you get a menu of the 15, you choose the 4 that you want, we thief them straight from the barrel, you would do the tasting, and then if you want to take 1 or 2 or all of them home, you can bottle your own and label it, seal it up, and take it home with you.
Yeah, I really like the bottling, the customization experience of it. Now, you have a little bit of an interesting background as well when it comes to bourbon. I know we were talking before. One, we have an affinity because we're both Creek dogs. We went to Chase Creek High School. We're from Lexington. But you said at some point when you were working in hospitality, I believe from BHG, that you couldn't really name even 20 whiskeys or bourbons as
that's right. It's a little bit of an embarrassing point, right? Born and raised in Lexington. I was working on the team that was tasked to open OBC Kitchen, so Old Bourbon County Kitchen, which is still there. They just celebrated their 10-year anniversary last year, I believe. Part of that was they're gonna have, at that point it was like 200 or more bottles of bourbon on the menu, and I remember thinking, gosh, I don't know how I'm supposed to market this. I don't think I could name 20. And so that was late 2014, and at that point I kind of took it upon myself to set a personal goal of going on what I call my bourbon journey. So doing a lot of like blind tastings, trying new things, and figuring out what I like and learning the differences between different distilleries and bottles. And I mean, I'm still on that journey. People will say, I've been doing that for over 10 years. So people will be like, well, you're the bourbon expert. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I am still just an enthusiast like everyone else. I learn new things every day.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to learn about bourbon, and that kind of, you wanting to have more knowledge about the industry and the spirit itself lended itself into a podcast. It's Bourbon Night, and I think over 100,000 subscribers. So talk a little bit about your content journey within the whiskey community.
Yeah, it started as mostly just doing those like bottle reviews and blind flights to kind of figure out the direction of what we liked, but then it sort of evolved into more of a community and a little bit more of like a lifestyle aspect. So more travel, bottle hunting, what it's like to go to different festivals, and really how bourbon is more than just like sitting at home and pouring a glass and drinking it, but it's an experience overall.
Yeah, when it comes to what is one of the most, you're constantly still learning, but what is one of the most interesting things that you've learned about the spirit within the history of?
Oh man, that's a great question. People get together because they like to drink, and it often though is not really about what's in your glass. Like it is, and that's a big deal, and it's part of it. But I think people are just looking for connection. Like it's not as, I think it gets painted in media as well as like a kind of a solitary thing.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, like you go home and you pour a glass and you just sit in front of the TV, and I'm like, that's not my experience with it at all. It's actually very social. It also gets painted often as like a man's drink.
Yeah.
I go to the Bourbon Women Conference every year, and there are 600 plus women there that just come to that one weekend every year that would strongly disagree with that take.
Yeah, especially with you being a woman, right? I belong to the Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild, and part of these, what just happened in Louisville, the symposium that happens. That happens every year. And so what I've seen has been quite the opposite. I think, even studies have shown that like women are growing exponentially as a leading consumer of the spirit that had been classified as a man's drink.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're still a smaller part of the industry. How's your experience been like being a woman, kind of leading the industry as well?
It's been interesting. I find myself often the only one in the room.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I generally also will like take the lead, so I'm not afraid to jump in. I think, slight advantage, like this isn't necessarily, it's not a black and white thing, but typically they say women have better palates, and biologically that supposedly comes from the ability to, or needing the ability to taste foods, like to make sure that they're safe for children. And being able to pick up like imperfections so that you're like, wait, we don't eat that. And so I've found that like through that, I guess, or through building my palate and honing it over the past 12 years, that it garners you a lot of respect, I think. Like not being afraid to speak up and say, when people are telling you what you're supposed to taste or what they think, to like jump right into that conversation.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing a lot change within the industry and the community about how people drink. It's not just one way, or a bourbon experience is not just, you're not, leather chairs,
right,
wood,
smoky
and
rooms.
Smoky rooms. And it seems like dark arts has kind of leaned into that. Is that
Absolutely. Like we have our neat pours, we do our flights. You can do the thief from the barrel cask strength stuff. We have a cocktail menu as well here, and one of which is a tiki style drink that uses our amber on a rye. So we're taking that and kind of completely turning it on its head. I don't think people think about whiskey or bourbon in a drink like that's like that. You think of like a rum or like a clear spirit.
Yeah, I think that is really interesting because when I think tiki drink, I think, tequila, light rum, flavored rum. And so who helps curate the menu here?
Our chief alchemist, he has a friend named Alec who, I can't remember. I think he works in Chicago. He's a big time in the bar industry mixologist who helped us curate our initial menu, but we're actually working on a revamp right now. I don't know at the time that this is going to be released, but we do seasonal revamps where we do like a cocktail menu change, and all of us kind of had the opportunity to have a say in the cocktails that are going to be on the next round. So I have my input. I have 1 or 2 on the menu, as well as Jacob, our other bartender who's here.
Yeah, so it seems like a more collaborative effort. And you have an interesting background, because I was talking to you weeks ago, and not only is it like content creation, hospitality, you've also been in production and really have like this creative mind. So where do you see, I mean, I also follow you on Instagram and will work for Bourbon.
Yeah,
I really love your content. Where do you see your content growing within the future?
Yeah, I've kind of, taken a step back to do dark arts from the It's Bourbon Night channel, but I do miss content production. Like, that side of things is such a big part of my world and my life, and I still think about that when I take my friends out to lunch or we go for drinks or whatever. They'll start talking to me about stuff, and I'm like, you should make a video about that, and here's exactly how it would look. That's just how my brain is wired.
Yeah.
So I find myself missing that a lot, and I've been thinking about working, starting a project where kind of like to carry on what I was trying to do at the end with It's Bourbon Night into more of a lifestyle and experience-based type of coverage, video series where, we were talking about it, the stories are so interesting, and I feel like, I don't know, being in this industry, like, I care about the product a lot, but I mostly care about the people that I'm sharing it with. I was in Chicago a few weeks ago, and I went to a bar, and I ended up going back 2 nights in a row because the food was great and the drinks were amazing, but the bartender, she was just so funny, so knowledgeable, and I just found myself being like, I want to go back and spend more time with this person. And so I'd like to look at, travel and the bourbon industry, the spirits industry, more through the lens of like the people that help build your experiences as well.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And one of the things that working in tourism and the hospitality industry that I always tell people, it's not just the experience, it's the people behind the experience, it's the hospitality factor of it. And, sometimes you go to places and you're like, oh, it's not bad, but it could be a little bit more. Like, what advice would you have to people that are in this industry or that are in just hospitality in general and hoping to make that impact and connection with their consumers?
Yeah. I don't know that I have so much of like a clear piece of advice, but I will say kind of the way that I try to look at things. Everyone gets up in the morning and goes to work, and like some days you don't feel like it. But what I do when I meet people is like, I recognize that a lot of these people have taken time out of their day, whether it be to come down the street to see us or come from out of town or across the world. And I want them to have a good experience. I want them to taste good things. But like, I try to approach it from the mentality of like, how can I make a memory for this person? How can I make this special so that they're going to remember it? And, a little selfishly, right?
Yeah.
I want them to go out and I want them to tell people about dark arts and say, what I just said about the bartender from Chicago, like, I met this great person.
Yeah.
But really for them, it's like you're giving someone a little gift.
Yeah.
And they spent their time and their hard-earned money to come be with you. And I think it's just like a small way of giving them a little gift back.
Yeah, one of the things when you bring up memories and connectivity with that, like with your senses, right? Smell, taste. What is a great memory that like bourbon or whiskey triggers for you?
Oh man, there's anytime I taste, this is crazy, a lot of like whiskey notes you can get, especially with some wine finishes, you get the orchard fruits, so like apple, pear. And anytime I taste pear, it reminds me, my grandmother knew that I always loved pears, but I like them like a week out from when you buy them. So like super ripe pear.
Yeah.
Which if you think about what that tastes like, it's like very juicy, very sweet. Again, like a little bit of that crisp orchard fruit note. And so anytime I get that, I think about like week-old pears. Like I would walk into my grandma's house and they would be sitting right there in a bowl, like just waiting for me. And I think about that. And I'm also like in that line, I think that being able to do that and pull upon those memories, there's such a, I don't want to get too, it's like, maybe it's not that deep.
No, yeah.
There's such a mindfulness aspect to people ask me like, how do you get so good at like tasting notes and nosing notes and describing things like that? And it's really about being mindful and sitting in the experiences that you're having like day to day. When you taste something, stopping and thinking, what does this taste like? How would I describe it? What does the place smell like?
Yeah.
When you walk into a cafe, what do you smell?
Yeah.
And if you walk by, people will say like something has floral notes. Well, there's a million flowers.
Yeah.
So when you walk through the farmer's market and there's flowers sitting there, like stop and smell them.
Yeah.
Train your brain on, but you have to be in the moment to do that. And so I kind of want to do a series in my next project about that too, about just like what it means to. It's sort of like just stopping and enjoying your life, but then it teaches you how to pull those notes out too.
Yeah, I think I love that you said that, right? I think sometimes we can get, and myself included, like what's next? We're not really taking a moment to like sit back and observe. And I think giving us a moment to even do that is part of the storytelling process, not just capturing the moment, but like experiencing the moment. What do you want people to get out of coming to like dark arts, or just whether they're being introduced to this spirit or have went to everything on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail?
Yeah. I think the opportunity to learn and engage with us, learn about our products, and really it's more of like an experience in a journey. We have, between all of our different mash bills and finishes and blends and everything, we have like 70 to 80 different products to explore. So that's a lot. You can't taste that in one setting. So what I
can't. I'm just
she's like, bet.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I would never do that. Drink responsibly.
I want people to take a step into their own journey of exploring what they like, tasting through new things, learning those flavors. And part of what I try to do here as what they call like a spirit guide is I'll ask you some questions about what you normally drink, what do you like, what do you don't like, if you taste our core products. From there, like I'll try to make recommendations and guide people through, because I've very familiar with those, all those bottles up on the bar. Like I said, we're in the process of redoing our menu, and I just had to taste them all to do tasting notes.
Oh, you have a tough
I know
job.
it's really hard. Somebody has to do it though. But I'll use that to kind of help customize the experience for people if they'll let me.
Yeah.
It's totally up to you how you frame your journey, but I like to help people sort of consider it like matchmaking.
Yeah. I love that you're trying to curate the experience. I mean, bourbon can sometimes be controversial, but I love that because it's also like a conversation starter, right? I mean, everyone is taking from their own experience and everything's subjective. But when we look at the growth and the ebbs and flows of the bourbon industry or spirits in general, where do you want to see this industry get to?
I think it's already kind of on its way, but like I was saying, like very much more in the experience, like in the communal aspect, bringing people together. I know it already is doing that, but I feel like people are moving away from, I just want to come in, sit down, do a tasting, and then I want to go buy that fancy bottle from the gift shop, and then I want to leave. Like they want to stay a while. They want to get to know the people. They want to have experiences that are more like bespoke and unique and customized for them, in smaller, more intimate groups where, again, they're making memories. And I see more like small tasting rooms like that coming up. I feel like that's the direction we're gonna head. Less like mass produced big bottle grabs for, as prices go up, $200-$300 bottle limited edition, like that can only sustain itself. That market's getting saturated. People are gonna go more for that, that bottle that you thieve straight from the barrel yourself and enjoyed in that room with 8 of your friends. That's gonna, I think, be the way that things end up going.
Yeah, we call it kind of like the Napification of the bourbon industry. And one of the thinking about like tourism and the experience in just Lexington as a whole, what I've been asking everybody is like, what is your perfect day in Lexington? And what's Sarah's perfect day in Lexington? I love your reaction, because most people have been getting nervous when I ask that question. Like, I don't know, I can't think of anything. But like, what is Sarah's perfect day?
My perfect day. I live in like the Kenwick neighborhood, so it's walkable to downtown. So it's a Saturday and I'm off work, and I wake up and it's beautiful. I walk down, I go to the farmer's market, get myself some flowers, I don't know, a little coffee or something. And then
Wisebird. You can buy Wisebird at like 8:30 a.m.
Or, I think Centro's open at 11. I'll go get a beer, get a book, sit out on the patio, read for a while. I don't know, after that, probably go to like, Kentucky Native Cafe or the Arboretum.
Ooh.
Do some like walking, or maybe Raven Run, go for a hike. And in the evening, I'm probably gonna go to Favor at
Yes.
I'm gonna go to Joseph Beth at some
Okay,
point. And
okay.
then I'm gonna go to Favor.
Yes.
And get a burger and
Yeah.
get a drink at Arcadium.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna end the night at Bar Ona.
Perfect.
That's
That's
my day.
that sounds amazing. Well, I used to live in like the Belcourt area, so I would always go
Oh,
to like
yeah.
Kenwick Table and then just walk
That's
downtown.
my coffee shop.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it? Yeah. I wish they were open a little later, but yeah. That's a good day. I might steal
Thanks.
that for some
Go
people's
for it.
itineraries.
Okay.
And then, I mean, Ona's a great bar, so it's like, I mean, what would you say for people that haven't experienced Lexington and are like, you know, they used to refer to us as a flyover state. I don't think we are that anymore. I think it's changed, but for people who are never heard of Lexington and interested in experiencing it, what would you say for them to come here?
I think there's just so many small, like, little areas. Like, we're not huge, but there's so many different little cubbies of things to explore, even within downtown, right? Like that like upper, or that limestone area with like Al's Bar and Arcadium and Favor and Standing Room Only is right there. Like, that's just its own little cubby of spots. And then over here at the Distillery District, like, you can spend an entire afternoon. It's more, I think, for the person who's got like the strict itinerary of like the tour starts here and then we have to drive and then we do this and that. Lexington is very chill, like very much more laid back in that. I like that it gives you the freedom to wander around and just go where the wind blows you. You know, if you end up somewhere and you find that you really like the bartender or the staff is great, you can hang out for long, like. Or if you meet somebody at the farmer's market and you guys end up going, I don't know, like, there's just so much more. It's more of like an open book kind of thing.
And I find it super friendly. I mean, I hear it from visitors all the time, like, oh, we met someone at a bar and they told us to go here, and we're actually meeting up with them for happy hour the next day.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like I go to, you know, I'll have dinner. I like sitting at the bar to eat just because I love watching the action and seeing people, like, making friends with people around me. And I always say, like, I never know a stranger because I'll end up just talking to them and making friends, and we'll talk about anything. But yeah, it's crazy how that works. Like, I like the flexibility to just go with it.
Yeah, you just got to go with the flow. So wrapping up, I've already started to sip, but what are we sipping?
So this is one of my favorite things from our Thief from the Barrel room. So right now we don't actually have this expression in any bottle that is like for sale outside of this building. It only exists in our private barrel program and then that Thief from the Barrel room. So this is a Sauterne finished bourbon, and it's 11 and a half years. 112.21 proof, and Sauterne is a French fortified dessert wine. Very sweet, very berry and confectionery. And this is one of my favorite things from that room.
Well, cheers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's good. It's really good. But
I love that you're a little surprised. No, I'm just kidding. I love whenever I try something, I'm like, that's good. Because people are like, why are you surprised?
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna really like it all the time, but I'm like.
And not everything's for everyone.
Yeah.
People come in the door sometimes and they're like, well, I don't really like finished bourbon. And I'm like, my friend, we have like 50 different finishes. So unless you've tried them all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is so great. Cheers.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
This is a letter from me to you. I said go big blue. I said go big blue. I said go big blue. It's a letter to Lexington, message from me to you.